Hey everybody, in today's world, with current technology, satellite communications, and everybody carrying a little magic piece of glass and aluminum, a single person on one side of the world can influence worldwide fashion, food, thoughts, and ideas. Not so easy to do in ancient times, but one person did influence the entire world into the way that we know it, literally just by showing up one day. And that person is Cleopatra the Seventh. How did she do that, and what did she influence Western culture to do? Well, in order to do that, we got to talk about the practices and culture of the ancient Egyptians. Okay? Now, throughout the ancient world, it is written and said that everybody thought that the women in Egypt were the most beautiful, most elegant women they had ever run into in anywhere in the known world. Why is that? Well, it has to do with their culture and their critical thinking. Okay, so the very first thing is, and all of this individually doesn't seem like it, but trust me, it all comes together. They had to figure out how to deal with lice. And somebody figured out a long time ago that if on the regular you shaved every bit of hair off of your body, you wouldn't get lice. So everybody in Egypt, some more than others, but just about everybody shaved everything. And that includes women shaving their hair off. Well, women like to have their hair, so how did they deal with this? Well, if you look at ancient Egyptian art, you'll notice that women have very nice and complicated hairdos in spite of this. Well, there was a big industry in making wigs, and they would make these perfect, elaborate, hairstyled, artificial wigs, including decoration. So every time a woman wanted to go into a situation, she just put her hair on, and it was always perfect. No reason to visit a beauty parlor. Seriously. Now, men also wore wigs, as it turns out, but generally they would be officials and noble people, and the style of wig would denote how important they were. You know, if you had a short men's haircut, it meant a low official. The longer the hair and the way it was styled, a little higher. And then there was men who wore women's wigs, and they were pretty much top tier. You had to be a top tier guy to wear a woman's hairstyle. So they always had nice hair. Ancient Egyptians always had good hair. Now, the second thing that happened in ancient Egyptian culture and practice was they live in the desert, and the sun is out a lot, and you have to face a lot of glare from the sun as you're going around your day. So they invented the technique, I don't know if they invented it, but they did it, of much like sports players where they put black under their eyes to reduce glare. Well, the Egyptians would put it all the way around their eye. This is why in the art you get this black eyeliner in a certain way. They would do it top and bottom, okay? And everybody did it. So this is your first form of cosmetics. Well, as we went along, women figured out that they could wear other forms of cosmetics. They could change the colors of their lips. They can use eyeshadow. They can basically use concealer and, different types of cosmetics. So Egyptian women looked fabulous all the time. Okay? They were always wearing cosmetics and great hair. Another things the Egyptians commonly did that most people in the ancient world didn't is, one, they bathed on the regular, and two, they actually practiced dental hygiene. They invented the toothbrush and toothpaste, although not quite the toothpaste we enjoy today. It had some animal hooves and whatnot in it. And they invented the toothbrush. So they would use regular dental hygiene. They also cut and manicured their nails. And they bathed on the regular. Okay, so automatically, women got great breath, looks great all the time, nails are done. Well, what else did they do? Well, they wore deodorant. They figured out that when they bathe on the regular, people who don't bathe on the regular might smell. So they had the usual perfumes and oils, but they also developed a fundamental deodorant. And if you see a painting where women are wearing their nice wigs and on top it looks like a cone, that cone is actually deodorant. It's wax and it's infused with perfumes and oils. And at this point, I'm going to apologize for my cat who really wants to play in the background. Maybe she'll show herself on camera. I don't know. Well, anyway, this cone, as they went throughout their day in the heat, would slowly melt and release this fragrance. So they didn't have to really worry about their perfume wearing off. They always smell good. So look at what you got here. I'm sorry. You got women who completely shaven, always great hair, great makeup, great breath, smelled real good, and wore nice clothes. Fashion was a deal in ancient Egypt. Now, women would wear different types of linen dresses, many of them sheer, not too many colors, but they did wear different styles, plus all their jewelry. So ancient Egyptian women were kind of like what you would see floating around Instagram compared to the rest of the ancient world. So this all culminates into Cleopatra the Seventh, and she was a Ptolemy. So she was actually half Greek. She wasn't completely Greek, but she was also half Egyptian. And we all know the story, but in a nutshell, she was able to seize power from her brother after her father died with the help of Julius Caesar, that she used all these Egyptian things that women did and made her extraordinarily attractive, not just the fact that she was politically smart and spoke between 7 and 9 languages. And in the process, she bore Caesar his only son, Caesarion. Well, Caesar went back to Rome, to become dictator for life and, in his mind, run the republic. And in that time, it was several years. He never sent for Cleopatra, never said anything, and Caesarion was growing up and being groomed to be pharaoh of Egypt. And this kind of ticked her off, so she sent to Rome that she was making a state visit. And she brought her entire entourage and fleet with her, and all these exotic animals and people doing these extraordinary things. If you've ever seen the scene from the 1960s movie Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor, that whole scene is not far off from what actually happened. Well, she comes in this giant parade, and she comes down all made up in her finery, looking gorgeous. Now, in real life, it said she was actually quite plain, but she was made up. She was a stunner. And nobody in Rome had ever seen this before, especially the women. And the women took a look at her and looked not only how she looked, okay, but also everybody else in the entourage, every other woman, be it a servant, you name it, they were all looking this good. And immediately, the Roman women wanted to know exactly what the Egyptian women were doing. It's very interesting, and wanted to emulate it. And the men of Rome really didn't have a problem. So Roman women started shaving, bathing on the regular, coming up with fashion, getting very nice, complicated hairstyles. It was just a revolution in the way women handled themselves in the world. And this filters up all the way through today. All the women out there, they're going to go out or just even go to work. They put on their makeup, they do their hair, they brush their teeth, they do their nails, and they put on some fashionable clothes. And this is all thanks to Cleopatra just showing up in Rome because she was ticked off at her husband. Anyway, till next time, thanks a lot.